immediate release of this minister in the temple of God. What have access to our money?
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need is not about the country. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the temple of God. What have access to our money?
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need is not about the country. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. And welcome to Open Conversation. Open Conversation is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actors to explore hope and engender positive impacts to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we look at these stories. First, Rivers State. Assembly suspends for Bharat's impeachment after Tinubu's intervention. And then on to Rivers by-election. Border judge faults INEC over PDP, Labour Party and ADC exclusion. And on electoral reform, reps apologize over tear gas at protesters. Ahead of 2027 elections, ADC condemns Tinubu over Electoral Act amendments. And on politics, AAP drags INEC to court over NDC registration. And still on Electoral Act, Bashir says that Obi may be backing direct primaries. We are open for sponsorship of the program, advert placements, news, events coverage and commercials. Watch us live on our website www.atlanticnetwork.tv, on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network. You can also watch us on Naval TV, Niger TV and Efastech TV platform. You can connect with us on our ATN socials by subscribing, like and share. Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on X, Atlantic TV Net. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll delve right into the show. Do not go away.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the temple of God. What have access to our money?
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need is not about the country. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the temple of God. What have access to our money?
As always said, there are two sets of people, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need is not about the country. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the temple of God. What have access to our money?
how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the top 10. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister elected Prophet on our
As always said, there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which I
No matter how tough the challenge, how the obstacles, we always overcome.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Conversation this morning is Nze O Nze. Nze O Nze is a regular on Open Conversation. He is a political analyst and is also prized himself as advocate of the masses. Good morning, Nze, and welcome.
Good morning, Laurentia. Good morning, Nigerians. You are looking to this morning.
Thank you very much, Nze. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I also have with me a regular on Open Conversation and a political analyst. He is Emmy Feraga. Emmy, good morning and welcome.
Loresha, good morning. I'm watching at the TV. I'm not looking at you. Good morning, Nigerians.
It's okay. Yeah, it's like you're ready for a fight this morning. All right, very well. And then on to the story. River State House of Assembly has suspended impeachment proceedings against Governor Similaye Fubara and his deputy Ngozi Odu following the intervention of President Bola Tinubu aimed at resolving the prolonged political crisis in the state. The decision was announced during plenary on Thursday in Port Harcourt by Speaker Martin Amehule after the Assembly resumed sitting. Amehule disclosed that all court cases instituted by the governor, his deputy, and the Assembly concerning the impeachment process had been withdrawn in line with the peace efforts. Lawmakers expressed optimism that both the executive and legislative arms would henceforth operate strictly within constitutional provisions to sustain political stability in the state. The impeachment move, initiated earlier in 2026 over allegations of gross misconduct, included claims of demolition of the Assembly complex, extra budgetary spending, and withholding funds meant for the Assembly Service Commission. The development followed renewed reconciliation efforts after President Tinubu met with Fubara and FCT Minister Nyesom Wike in Abuja, raising hopes of a lasting solution to the Rivers political standoff. Nze, I will start with you on this one. What is your take on this?
My take is that, first and foremost, I'm happy. And one will ask, why am I happy? There is a sign of peace returning back to Rivers State, our own state, our dear state. You know, the political brouhaha that have ensued between the executive arm of the government and legislative arm of the government for 3 good years now has not really done well in any way. It has not done us good in any way, state. And we've suffered the brunt because it comes down to the masses. It is the masses that suffer the brunt. So not the political gladiators themselves. Though they might say one way or the other, they are getting the filler, but I think it is the grass that suffers more while the elephants engage in a fight. So now that the speaker, the embattled speaker, I will use that word.
Why do you say embattled?
Yeah, over time he has been at loggerhead with the executive.
He's not embattled.
Well, permit me to use my word.
You can say no. You can say embattled if his position as a speaker is under contention.
At a point in time, you know it was.
He's not an embattled speaker right now.
Yes, now right now he is not. That's why I have to address him as the speaker.
Not the embattled speaker.
But permit me to have my view, because my view prevails. To me,
your view
as a
might,
person,
no, hold on, Nze, please.
No.
You have your view.
However,
when you coin your view in a way that misinforms,
it does not misinform.
Embattled speaker means his speakership is under contention.
It's not under contention.
Very
So
well,
we know that. We know that. But I think
may not know.
They should know, because I know that by the time I finish explaining myself, they will know.
Okay,
So you know, when you try to cut off a flow of information, definitely
embattled is misinformation.
See,
but go
the
ahead.
Speaker, Rivers State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Martin Samuel. Today, he is the Speaker. Now is bigger. So he has finally come together with the executive, based on whatsoever reasons. And when we come to begin to explain the reasons, or maybe dissect the reasons, we may see where some people will say yes and where some people will say no. But whichever one that happens, presently, Rivers State is maybe having a breath of a fresh air for some time now, praying strongly that whatever used to turn the water will not turn the water again. Because now that he is assuring us that the impeachment proceedings have been withdrawn, and Mr. President had intervened, and we've seen the governor coming to dissolve his cabinet and making a fresh nominations and things like that. We are watching to see those that will skate through the nomination, and we know who is who in Rivers State. We've all been here, we know ourselves, and we know who is in Band A or in Band B. Yes, that's Band A and B and C. Yeah, Band A, B, and C. So we now know those who are in Band A and those who are in Band B. And who will skate through the nomination and screening of the State Assembly. And however, I know that we've already entered the electioneering period. Whatever anyone does now will either positively or negatively affect that person in the soon coming campaign, when INEC will lift the ban on campaign. When you go back to talk to your people, who know what you will tell them.
All right.
Because for now, the assembly has struggled, and finally we say that they've down tools, they've down weapon, and trusting that Mr. Governor also will play by the rules. To me, the rules is that the kite will perch, the ego will perch, because none of them planted the tree. You only have the privilege of finding the tree around you. You perch there. So Mr. Governor should know.
Live and let live.
Yeah. Mr. Governor should know that those who fought in his army shouldn't be destroyed because he has reconciled. And those reconciling with the governor should know that their own men as well should not be discarded because they have reconciled with the government. First and foremost, we are all Rivers people before our political leanings and others. So if this balance can be maintained, I believe that there will be peace, and perhaps 2027 will be a walkover. And by the time it happens, we'll begin now to look at development coming, because for the past 3 years, which I believe that these few months remaining to round off this administration, we're not expecting much anyway.
All right.
We're not expecting more. So we are now believing that if God help, that the peace we have now will afford the governor his constitutional right of running for the second time. By the time he comes back, he can now concentrate and give Rivers people the good governance we believe
Well,
he
you
had in
wouldn't
mind.
know what was in the agreement, right?
Agreement
when
has
you
always...
talk about second term, don't you think it's too early to start talking about the governor running for second term? Don't you think he's stirring the waters again, considering that wounds considering that wounds have not healed, and the governor is yet to... Yes, he has started with whatever it is that they have in the agreement, but because people are still watching, considering that there has been a history of agreements that were not fully carried out, that led to the breakdown of previous peace arrangements. So don't you think it's too early to start talking about re-election of the governor or not? Let him find his footing first. Don't you agree?
While I will not completely agree with you on this, is because when we're making agreement, when we are treating, when we are preparing ourselves, we avoid adding pepper
and salt,
because they are not friendly to the eye. So if you are making whatever agreement, you should know that this man is a Nigerian. Yes, you brought him, but we have come to love him. He has become ours. It's just like a man that gave birth to the queen. The queen is your daughter, but now the queen of the community, the queen of the kingdom. So you no longer own her. She's now abiding not by your own dictates, but by the rules governing the office of a queen, which was collectively agreed upon by the people. So this man now that is the governor has constitutional right of serving for 4-year tenure and also seeking another 4-year tenure. So I believe that whatever agreement they had shouldn't touch that area. But if somehow, because nothing is impossible around us, especially in reverse politics, nothing is impossible. We've seen a lot. We've seen 99 in reverse politics. So if at the end of the day the otherwise happens, we'll still know how we cross the bridge when we get there.
Right, very well. What is your take on this story?
First, I want to draw our attention to something that is very salient and very important. As long as we are humans, disagreement is part of our relationship. People will always disagree. The key thing there is that in the face of these disagreements, the ability to harmonize them and make meaning out of them makes us better humans. So this is political relationship, and in politics, it's all about the interest. You think about what you want to get from the political system, you think about what you want to get from that political association, and the rest of it. The only problem here, where we find that, interest is becoming an offense, is that in Africa and in Nigeria, in part of this world, this country that we are, the interest of that individual interest, we always wanted to supersede the general interest. And at the end, it leads to much crisis. So this, the current political situation in Rivers State now is what I call a political default. Trying to reset the whole system and we're starting afresh again. So they're in a state of political default. This is how they were supposed to, to be driving ab initio, but where one or two wrong advice, infiltrated into the system. Some people decided to take the left wing, while some took the right wing, and granted the whole things here. And I think people like me were supposed to be given an award based on the River State matter. We insisted from the beginning. Some things are very unnecessary. Very, very unnecessary. We said it ab initio here. That can two work together, except they agree. And the last time I came, I emphasized on this thing, that the only thing that we bring is political solution, and at the end, they always come to an agreement. They will come to an agreement, and it is that agreement that we now, drive whatever peace that they are going to enjoy. That is where we are today. So I'm a better prophet today. So the prophecy came to pass. Assuming is something I should be raising 1 or 2 offerings. But here you don't raise offerings.
Thank God you know.
We give.
I'm glad you know that.
So I think it's a good one for them to come together as a political family. When you don't like a political relationship, the best way that is recommended by our grown-up is to find a way to change it through the acceptable means.
Ballot.
And that acceptable means is through the ballot. Alternative, you can also recall. But here we always want to do things the way we think we want them to happen. Oh, you are no longer assembly. Oh, you are no longer government. That is not acceptable. So if you think that this their union is very offensive to you, prepare yourself. Galvanize yourself. So when the time comes, you go to the ballot. So whatever relationship you think that you don't like, you vote them out and elect new persons. So don't go there and be acting Nicodemously, going behind to sow seed of discords in the minds of people just for your selfish political interest or economic interest. You go manipulating the minds of people and you want to use them as tools towards achieving that narrow interest at the expense of the state. And later you go blaming assembly. You blame this, you blame everybody. Oh, they don't have respect. Oh, they don't do this. All this is very unnecessary. So the major people to tackle are those set of humans.
So you mean the people surrounding the governor?
I don't know if they are close to the governor.
The people advising both camps?
Those political entrepreneurs.
Okay, merchant crisis.
Yeah, so we always want to find a means, to make themselves either relevant or to get something from the state. So they feel that by the time they want that their narrow interests achieved, that is the only way they will get it. So they should stay clear. If you don't like their reconciliation, find a means. And that is true.
But when we say to a large extent, the assembly, they are mature men with a mind of their own. The governor also is a very mature man with a mind of his own. So when you say, one would say to a large extent, each and every one of us, we are responsible for our actions and our inactions. So when advice in Nigerian language, they will always say, Nigerian parlance in pidgin, they will say advice, not because. So it's what it is an advice. You choose to take it or you choose not to take it. You choose to act on it or you choose not to act on it. So in this instance, will people still continue to give advice? Yes, they will still continue to give advice. But it's not the decision of the person or persons being advised to decide to take that advice or not take that advice, and to decide to learn from their past or his past or not learn at the end of the day. So can you wish the merchant crisis away? We can't wish them away.
See, you can wish them away.
How?
In the sense that, like you rightly pointed out, we are adult minds. The players are adult minds. But how many people can actually resist some level of manipulation? It's not everybody. There are some people who will come to you. They will come like wolves, while some will come like sheep. For you will think that they actually cares about you, those who will come like sheep, but they are wolves. They will come, think for you, the way they will present the matter is as if you are their concern. The essence of that, sometimes they will manipulate you into believing whatever they will tell you. So the ability to filter these things is not always easy. So if you can't filter, you will fall for it. And once you fall, they will use you unconsciously to you that you are being used. But the thing now is, it is expected that an adult mind should learn from his past mistakes. If you have been misled into taking certain routes and you saw that you land crashed in those routes, don't go there again. So when they are coming, you should be able to filter them. Whatever advice, whatever thing, whatever emotion that will be sold to you, filter them so that you won't fall prey again. And as for the assembly, it is time for governance. Rivers State is lacking in so many ways. Rivers State is lacking. And one of the reasons we are lacking is this attitude of trying to blame people and excusing ourselves from the real cause of problems. You see, with the kind of resources that enters the states, Rivers State should be competing economically, not based on FAC allocations, but based on IGR. A IGR, the one that is generated not through multiple taxation, FDI, but the one that is generated through reasonable economic decisions and commitments.
Foreign direct investment.
We are not having them here. People wakes up in Rivers State, you see I don't know if I should say the wickedness in the hearts of some persons, all in the name of economic exploitation. They scavenge people resources through in the name of rentage and the rest of it. The state is not doing anything. A society where there is no regulation, the society is bound to face serious crisis, several challenges. That is why we have government. When they say welfare, welfare does not necessarily, it's not limited to infrastructures like roads, like hospitals, like schools. The welfare aspect of it is how the people will live well and live right and having better standard of living. A man that roams on the street based on high cost of rentage and all that cannot talk about good standard of living. So we need legislations that will cover all of these problems, that will try to regulate society for Rivers State to be a home and not just a place. Rivers State should have electricity market law by now. Electricity is not a sole responsibility of the federal government anymore. It has been unbundled. Individuals can even generate, transmit electricity now, make money. That means Rivers State can make money from this aspect with the huge resources. You can partner. You can do one or two things. At a time when there was monopoly of NEPA in this country, you don't do anything outside the national grid. Everything must. You are just on that. But a man called Bola Ahmed Tinubu decided to break that monopoly when he was a governor. These are ideas. And today he's working well for Lagos. So if we can have the governor looking at this area, let us create our market law, either through an executive bill or through private member bill generated from the assembly, and legislating on it for us to begin to think how Rivers State can set up their own electricity company that can feed people. Then go to a way of empowering people based on comparative advantage from the executive. Think it's not about structure. You do euphoria on 1 kilometer roads, which we are not seeing. For past how many years, we have not seen anything in terms of agriculture in Rivers State. But we see billion missing, billion flying. And at the end, they say we are fighting. The fight didn't stop the withdrawal of the money from the Rivers State consolidated account. But the fight only stopped using the money for the people. So if we shouldn't have experience of that such anymore. It is time now, so nobody will deceive me again that it is the fight that only collect money from that consolidated account, but not expending the money on the welfare of the people. So let us have sustainable development ideas that will drive Rivers State and compete, and let us stop blaming Lagos and blaming the North. That they are the reason why our SIPA, they are the reason why we can't compete. It's a federal government conspiracy against Rivers State. All these are fallacious decisions, fallacious beliefs. They are not true. If you remove non-state actors from our roads that are actually chasing away investors, intimidating people who wish to invest in Rivers State, remove them from the road, make the place a conducive environment for investors to invest. I tell you, we will have better society that will compete economically. Not just all about this deception. They go about fighting, no fighting, and at the end, we will see nothing.
All right, very well. Moving forward, still on Rivers State. Chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, Bode George, has criticized the Independent National Electoral Commission for barring the PDP, African Democratic Congress, and Labour Party from participating in the Rivers State House of Assembly by-elections scheduled for February 21. He described the decision as troubling and demanded clarification on the grounds for the exclusion. George questions the criteria adopted by the electoral body, insisting that major political parties should not be disqualified without transparent justification. He stressed that Nigerians deserve clear explanations on how INEC arrived at its decision, warning that such actions could raise concerns about fairness in the electoral process. The PDP leader urged INEC and other stakeholders to uphold due process, transparency, and equity in election management. According to him, allowing political parties equal participation remains essential to strengthening democratic governance and maintaining public confidence in Nigeria's electoral system. Emmy, what is your take on this?
Gray hair, when we were growing up, they told us that it's a sign of wisdom. So we were actually, aspiring to have gray hair very early, because we believe that by the time we have it, people will be regarding us as people of wisdom. But in these days, can we substantiate that claim that every gray hair is a sign of wisdom? Elders are meant to guide people aright. Yes, we know politics sometimes, you try to misinform people, you try to, manipulate the mind of the people, to promote your own cause to some extent. But when it comes to the level of Bode George Chief, I think we should see some level of difference, because where he's going is closer than from where he's coming from. The length, he spent a length of days and years here on earth. So where he's going now is much shorter. I'm looking at the age. So we should try to leave legacies that even when we are gone, people will talk good of us whenever our names are mentioned. You are here blaming INEC. Like my people will always say, if you hate the festival of lizard in your compound, don't go to the bush and fetch ant-infested firewood to your compound. because the lizard will come when you fetch them. You are blaming INEC on what ground? We have an electoral act that is operational. And the electoral act stipulates what is required in view of any elections that is to be conducted or held in Nigeria. INEC gave the reason why some political parties are excluded. Like the one of the PDP, they refuse to participate in primaries. So if you don't do that, how will you feature in an election when the electoral act says parties shall nominate candidates through primaries? Either you do it consensus or whatever, but it must be through that process. You didn't do that. You are blaming INEC. Then for the Labour Party, they say they have issues. Litigations here and there. This one say they are the authentic, this one say they are the authentic. So what do you expect INEC to do in this regard? You are there, fighting yourselves. And at a time you were supposed to submit candidate, you did it. That you want to sponsor in that election, you did it. So you want INEC now to come to your party secretariat and pick anybody and say that this is a Labour Party's candidate. Then as for the ADC, that body just belongs and the rest of them. The Electoral Act that is operational before they signed one, the new one, stipulate 180 days windows for you to nominate the candidates that you are to sponsor in an election. The time you were supposed to upload this candidate to INEC, you didn't do such things. The time elapsed. So you want INEC to break all the rules to accommodate you. So if INEC, should do that, don't you take another person who also rise tomorrow and say, okay, you did it for ADC. Why don't you must do it for us too? So are you going to have a better electoral system? People should learn to stay by rules, rule by rule, live by rule, stick to those rules. If you must participate in a contest, it is expected that you understand the rules that govern that contest. So you don't go breaking them and be blaming the judges. That, oh, you are not giving rule, you are not understand the rules. So both the judge was supposed to look inward and blame himself and his party for their own woes first, for the exclusion. They failed to show that they are elders. They failed to show that they are party. They failed to harmonize their interests and push forward a candidate for election. So you are now blaming it on INEC. So what do you expect INEC? INEC should play the role of the political party. These reasons were listed for you. So why are you blaming INEC? As long as we want to win an election, let us do those things that require of us as political parties and as individuals for us to have a sound contest that is befitting our electoral system.
All right, very well. Nze, what is your take on this story?
I wish I have the very reason why INEC excluded these political parties. When I saw it, I started making inquiries to know why. But I've not really gotten the exact reason why these three major political parties should be excluded from reverse by-election to the assembly. But listening to what Amy said this morning, that maybe PDP didn't participate because they couldn't hold primaries. PDP is not participating because they didn't hold primaries.
INEC had come out to address this. So that's why when I read the statement by Bode George, I found it quite interesting because he knows what INEC said. INEC had addressed this. INEC said that PDP has leadership crisis. Right? PDP has leadership crisis. Labour Party had told them that there is still litigation ongoing. And if you recall, in other places that they've had elections, Labour Party candidates have all been delisted by INEC.
Yeah.
All the elections have held,
so what's their reason for ADC?
ADC on their own, ADC did not come out to say, oh, they want to participate. The LTC actually said they were going to participate, did not hold primaries. So is INEC to be blamed for ADC not holding primaries? PDP has leadership crisis, right? And then PDP, on the other hand, even PDP in Rivers State has leadership crisis. And apart from that, you now have the Rainbow Coalition, where you see people. Anyway, your guess is as good as you forgot also that you mentioned in this show when you said something that I found quite interesting during the local government election, when you were talking about the recent local government election. I'm quoting you, you said that people entered as candidates, they entered that election prior to the election, prior to the primaries, and they were PDP members, and after the primaries results were announced, they became APC members. Have you forgotten that statement? So we now have a situation similar to that running around in Rivers State. However, INEC had addressed that in the past and said that Labour Party had informed them of the litigation ongoing. And then with regards to PDP, that they are having leadership crisis.
Do you know why I am not much disturbed about this? When I saw it, I felt bad, but I tried to get detailed information about it, but except some of the ones you are just presenting to me. So I'm not going to discuss this matter at such very depth of it, but I will discuss it from the layman perspective that suddenly PDP is not participating, Labour Party is not participating, and this upcoming coalition of ADC is not participating. So it is now APC all the way.
There are other parties as well.
I know, we have other political parties.
The INEC said APC and 12 other parties.
We have other political parties, I know. But we just mentioned the ones that have been holding sway. Are you getting
Major opposition.
Major opposition parties are now not participating. So you see that when I saw the election in Rivers and the FCT, I was asking myself, where will the FCT minister be on that day? Because you know that he's interested in this election, and he's also interested in FCT.
And both are holding on the same day.
And both are holding on the same day. But you discovered that just a few days ago, both FCT minister and the rest of his, if I may say, political warlords, moved up to Abuja. Because perhaps Rivers' own had been settled.
Rivers' own is a Rainbow Coalition thing.
Yeah, so that one now
it's a Rainbow Coalition thing.
That it has been taken care of. So why I said that I will discuss this from a layman perspective is that somehow we are a country who claim to be democratic. And where is these things leading us to? If at this point you see that INEC as an umpire that will conduct, that is responsible, saddled with the responsibility of conducting these elections, are acting the way they act. Because for me, if they tell me that PDP is having crisis at the national, except if they will say state, because I don't want to know much about what is happening at the state. I don't want to go into it because it is a shambles to me. So at the federal, the national, INEC has recognized a particular group.
Yes.
So why should they still want to use it? Yeah, why should they come back here and tell us that?
And apart from that, you have forgotten.
The recognition came
after the primaries, the windows of the primaries closed. Because now one would be, if we are to go by that assertion, one would now be asking, why is it that in FCT, PDP is running for election?
And they cannot run.
And it's just that two candidates of PDP have actually stepped down for APC.
Based on what we describe as resemblance of Rainbow Coalition.
Of course.
Yes.
So the Rainbow Coalition situation is also playing out in
FCT.
Yes, exactly. So now that's actually what is playing out. But Amy is saying that recognition of the PDP schools came after the windows for primaries closed in Rivers State. Amy, is that what you're saying?
That is what I'm...
No, if the windows of primaries closed in Rivers State and has not closed in what's it called, FCT, that recognition of a faction, how does it run? Except if they have different...
The FCT election, is it running the same time?
The same day.
The same day.
Yes,
so how come the windows are closing on different days?
That's the question
in PDP, in Rivers State here, was there any primaries elections or any platform to select candidate for the election in Rivers State? They did
there was no primary election.
They did it.
See, I'm not a member of PDP.
No, I understand. We are trying to, we are informing ourselves. So in Rivers State, it is believed that they decided not to participate in the elections.
No, that is you not saying it. Until we ask questions, until we go to PDP members in Rivers State, until we go to ADC members in Rivers State, for Labour Party, we might say that Labour Party had already informed INEC, this is our stand. And if that is that, I think it is very obvious.
No, you don't need to go to see. A timetable is reeled out for an elections. A party that is willing to participate in that contest will set their house in order and do the necessary things that was required of them to do. In Rivers State, PDP didn't even give room. In fact, they didn't even want to participate. There is nothing, no preparation. What they were doing is Rainbow Coalition. It was Rainbow Coalition to replace the PDP and the APC interest here. That was what they did.
Which means once we believe that PDP members are still contesting in the election, but not as bearing the badge of PDP.
No, they are not contesting.
But hold on. I said a PDP member who is part of Rainbow Coalition is contesting the election, but not with PDP badge.
Under APC.
Under APC.
You are going just for the Rainbow, yes. They adopted the APC candidate.
I want to say, because you see, like when you point out PDP, LP, ADC, you are creating a different feeling in the minds of the people. Are you getting me? But if we come to understand that these PDP people you are talking about are in the Rainbow Coalition.
And there is a consensus.
And there is a consensus. They've all come to agree. So one will say that the father of PDP in Rivers State has spoken to his children. I said, this is how we go. So let the name, the nomenclature, PDP, remain while we go on with this. So if that is what is agreed, like she quoted me by saying that some people entered into
local government election.
During the primaries. They entered as PDP members, and they marched
baptism.
No, they were baptized inside.
It was baptism.
Okay, baptism
transformed them.
So they now came out as APC flag bearers. You know, they had no problem with that if the law can accept that. But where our problem is, by tomorrow, another political party does it that is not either in power, and somebody will begin to speak against it. Just like you talked very strongly about rules, following rules. We should be able to create a rule that will guide us in this country, for God's sake. And when that rule is created, whether you are A or you are Z, the same rule will apply to you.
We have the rules.
Whether you are number one or you're number 20,
they will argue that in political parties, you are also a member of, you used to be a member of Labour Party, so you know how this operates. Political parties have the discretion to give waiver.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, I know.
So now
that is very clear.
APC can decide to say that they decided to give waiver to these PDP members who defected based on their political influence at the grassroots level prior to the election.
That happened
so
even...
Now, when we are to talk about rules, there are rules in APC and PDP as well that gave room for waiver to be given, and that waiver is discretionary.
That's why you didn't see anybody go to court because of it.
One cannot now say, oh, they broke a rule. One cannot now say they broke a rule, because to the best of my knowledge, PDP constitution, for example, says that when, let's say, a chieftain of the party, an elective officer or whoever, you leave the party, even a privileged member of the party, you leave the party, upon return to that party, you're stripped of every benefit and privileges you previously had. So you're just like a normal member, right? That's the rule. However, the party can also choose, just like we've been seeing in the case of Atiku Abubakar, give waiver and still retain him as whatever. I'm sure that if Atiku decides to go back to PDP tomorrow, they will bring out that their waiver lacuna or proviso and use it to give waivers. It's discretionary, and if APC used it in this, one would say they can argue that they actually did follow the rules. But then when we look at the, I find the position of ADC and the silence of ADC quite interesting. Recall that we also discussed on this program, when this news, or when INEC released the date for the by-elections, ADC entered the room first with their mouth, very loud, and they boasted that they were going to win these 2 seats. You know, they are going to use it to make statements and show their readiness ahead of 2027. And then after that boast, we didn't hear anything. ADC did not conduct primaries. Probably if ADC had, at least I was listening and I kept asking questions, probably if ADC had, you know, conducted primaries and INEC delisted them, then one can now start talking of, one can now say, okay, Bode George is making sense when he added ADC to this exclusion list, right? But in this instance, ADC has not even come out to cry that they have been excluded. They have not said anything. In fact, there is silence on the graveyard on the side of the ADC.
When I saw this very topic as one of the things we discussed, unfortunately I saw it this morning. I had wanted to call some of the ADC chieftains in the state and say, well, what is happening? Why is this and why is that? Actually, I've seen the news about the exclusion earlier before now, but I've not really had time.
But have you heard ADC
I've not had ADC say anything
about
None of their members have called me and said, look at what we are going through. Because we discuss, we talk. We talk. Just like you always accuse that I am... I don't know how you put it, ADC. You do accuse me that I'm ADC in spirit, but that is accusation.
I never accused you of being ADC in spirit.
You've said that all the time now. That
you know that. No, I only predicted.
Now you are okay. Your prediction.
I predicted that there is every possibility that you move to ADC. I'm still saying it again.
But
there is every possibility
when the time comes.
Because I don't see you moving to APC. Well, you're a politician. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen in Nigeria.
I just said that now. Remember to a politician.
However, we look at the silence of ADC, and ever made ADC, except if they had secretly joined the Rainbow Coalition.
Is ADC prepared?
Whatever made them, do you know, this is just a few words, not a few words, a few words election. You can't tell me that ADC is not prepared to run for election in few words.
Let me say my fellow comrade. Let me go ahead.
You see that book they call Bible? Apart from the religious aspect of it, there is also the part that guides if you want to learn 1 or 2 things about life. And he said something, say, by their fruit you will know them. By their fruit we know them. A man that is prepared for the contest, you know by the leg he carried to that dancing center. ADC, the way you look at ADC, you will just understand. ADC have one primary aim.
Presidency.
Fight Tinubu. That is what they have shown. ADC have not really proven themselves to be a political party that were actually coming to stand and remain as a political party. The contest election now and future elections. That is why they say a house built on a faulty foundation will not stand. The wind will come, it will just take it away. The wind after 20 years, you will see by the primaries. I am giving ADC from now to maybe September, October. You will see the disarray in ADC. Because if you even look at the people there, this one we talk about himself. They hardly even mention the party. This one we talk about himself. So you have individual interests.
Not party.
Have not even agreed to harmonize. They are just thinking about me. It is me that want to be there. If discuss me, even you are aspiring. If you want to discuss me, not even yourself. So if you are discussing yourself, I find it very, very unpalatable. This is what they are doing. They are not ready. How many of them are moving from community to community and trying to get members? How many? There was a time where Atiku started buying cars, setting up ADC's offices in some part of the north. How many times have you seen a Peter Obi doing that in the southeast? I'm taking them one after the other. In the southeast, how many times have you seen a Peter Obi going to one place, say we have inaugurated, this is ADC, this is where we are to plan and to move for the ADC to be stable as a political party. Have you seen any? Now, Amechi only came after inauguration. I came here and said, how do I get to remove Tinubu? Since that day, have you seen anything? It's all about removing Tinubu. Tinubu must not, Tinubu. It shows they are not serious. So when people say they are just an association of aggrieved politicians who are pursuing some narrow interests, the people might not be wrong. They don't really mean well for the ADC. And I'm telling you, most of them, from my own observation, what I'm saying, they are already planning option B. Many of them are having option B. So everything is like K-leg, like Obasanjo described primaries election in Rivers State, K-leg. So that is what we are saying. If you cannot prove yourself, this is an avenue for you to prove yourself that you are coming.
A litmus test.
You are coming to do something. But what did you are not even see, you are not on ground, you are not even doing anything. Every time you are
Amy, talking about when you talk about the cohesion, when you're faulting the cohesion in ADC, you know, one would say to a large extent, like I always mention on this program, that I was hoping that, you know, this election will be a way for ADC to make statements. One, it is a way for Amechi, who is planning to contest presidential elections and to run primaries on the platform of ADC as a presidential candidate, to show ADC that I am on ground.
I
can defeat FCT minister in my state, right? But, you know, and again, ADC has a lot at stake in this, that this election would have saved them from. Do not forget that there is a litigation in courts, you know, asking the court to compel INEC to delist some political parties in Nigeria, and ADC is one of them. And part of the reason for that delisting is ADC has existed for decades and have not, and going by the qualifications of a political party, they have not won one election. They've not won one elective position at the National Assembly, at the state level, at the local level. So how are you existing for that long? And now, some persons are telling INEC, delist. Yes, other political parties are added to that, but you know, your guess is as good as mine that the target is ADC. And that court decision might come after the windows of primaries are closed.
They have a saving grace.
Now, don't you think that ADC would have pulled their resources together, you know, to make sure that they at least get one seat? That would have helped them in court, you know, to prove that, oh, we've at least won one elective position.
They have now. They have elective this now. Senator Gigimbe, she defected.
No.
So that is defection.
I'm coming. That is why I'm coming. The court will look at what the law says. The court will say you must have
one election.
Yes, you must have. And the law didn't say emphatically stress that you must win. So the technicalities might come. My biggest grouse against they had a window in Anambra.
Okay.
They were supposed to show those things from Anambra and continually to build on it. But they went to Anambra floating, and they were even caught trying to tomperate. First, you stain yourself. You stain yourself that you are coming.
So how are you? How are you better than the ADC?
You are not even better because you are caught right in the act
of electoral
and they have not been able to dissuade the minds of Nigerians from that act already. What they are doing, see, when you are staying, if you are wise, you try to play into the minds of Nigerians to show that you are the better alternative. But in this case, you are not doing anything. Anytime you have opportunity to do Tinubu, Tinubu must not come. Tinubu, you are not showing footage, you are not showing routine, you are not showing standing anywhere. For me, I wish them, and I can't wish them good luck.
All right, moving forward, House of Representatives has apologized to protesters affected by the use of tear gas at the National Assembly during demonstrations over the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2026. House spokesman Akin Rotimi described the incidents as regrettable, assuring Nigerians that the circumstances surrounding the action were under review. The protesters had demanded the mandatory inclusion of real-time electronic transmission of election results in the amended Electoral Act. While affirming citizens' constitutional rights to peaceful protest, Rotimi cautioned against infiltration by disruptive elements capable of causing a breakdown of law and order during such demonstrations. Defending the Electoral Act review process, the lawmaker maintained that the National Assembly followed due constitutional procedures with active civil society participation. He urged Nigerians to sustain confidence in the legislature, noting that although the law may be imperfect, it represents progress towards credible elections ahead of the 2027 general polls. Interesting. Nze, what is your take on this?
Well, that National Assembly members are coming to apologize is a show of concern, because for the spokesperson of the House of Reps, coming to speak in this manner shows that they've looked into it and they've seen that it was wrong for peaceful protesters to be tear-gassed. But somehow we need to ask, who gave the order? Who ordered the police or the law enforcement agencies to tear-gas the people? Who gave that order? And if that order was given, was it right? Can it be maybe contested in the court? But you see that Nigerians have no right. Once the leaders have decided whatever they want to do, they go ahead to do it. But I believe that the National Assembly should have listened to the people, see what the people are saying, not just taking it that maybe one politician or the other is the one inciting the people to do this. Look at what they are saying. Include this real-time stuff in the Electoral Act. In that bill, put this real-time. Let transmission of election results be carried out from that moment electronically, so as to avoid tampering of results, maybe at the RAC center or whatsoever. Now, if people are saying, give us this, and you, the leaders, are saying, we will give, but we want to add a clause, where network or whatsoever, and they're saying, Oga, if by any means there should be network defect in this area, let INEC provide alternative to that. And what is the alternative? They can go on with booster, network booster. They can also organize, perhaps hire the services of some network providers who will give them, who will ensure adequate network in those suspected areas.
That's 3%, by the way.
3%. That is the, that's, you see,
so
the,
because,
you
of
see
3%, because of 3%.
You see the littleness of what we're even crying for. But you know that that area they are giving, they've reserved for themselves is where we're expecting that the leakage will come. And upon that, the people are saying, please do this. You say, instead of allowing that they're disturbing our peace, and begin to tear gas them. So for the Akin Rotimi coming up to speak on behalf of the House of Reps, you discover that Nigerians to a very large extent are believing in the House of Reps more than they believe in the Senate in today's.
But the House of Reps they've capitulated to pressure.
Yes, they have to. What will they do? Because if Akpabio is number 3 man and Abbas is number 4 man, you see the seniority, you see the hierarchy, and there's no how the House will
if the House of Reps had maintained that earlier position, because the House of Reps had passed the electronic transmission, while in the Senate there was an issue. So if House of Reps had maintained that position without capitulating, I don't think there will be a law that the president would have assented to.
Yes, now, but you know
so
that
it will drag out, and they will be forced to listen to the masses.
You know that in this country, and even in the parliament, there is room for lobby, and that is where politicians play their game, which is not bad. Are you getting me? If I have this interest to protect, I should be able to lobby to the extent that my fellow, my colleague, who is not seeing it from my view, will begin to. And I believe that's what both presidency did, that made had to relax and allow the decision of the Senate to override theirs, if I will say. And coming now openly to apologize to Nigerians, I accept that apology as a Nigerian, though I wasn't there in Abuja, and I accept for those who come to perhaps speak to me about it. I said they have apologized. We have to accept that apology. But to keep on fighting against that law that President had assented to, which I believe that after 2027, you discover that 2028, 2029, that law might be changed again. Yeah, we just had one in 2022, isn't it? And this is 2026.
What changed actually?
Actually, nothing much. Except
what changed actually?
Except that Nigerians started calling for it. Except that Nigerians started calling for it, and they still insisted on it. You know, after the last protest in Abuja, I think that should be Tuesday last week or thereabout, when the Senate had to go back, they finished and still came back with something related to what they have done before. There was no actual change, which we believe that if that change should happen, scarcely will up to 30% of the
20.
Okay, I say scarcely.
Or 10.
Oh, hey.
Will return.
Hardly will they return back to the chamber. And for that reason, they insist that their will prevail the will of the people who elected them. But however, I still believe that Nigerians, one day, fate will smile at them by making them, with their majority, power of majority, you know, bring down this, what do I call it, the ranks that are actually holding Nigeria to ransom today. There is a particular rank that is holding Nigeria to ransom today. One day, with the power of electoral voting power of the majority, one day will bring them down. And God will give us a leader that will help us create a reform that will put Nigeria on a very positive pedestal that will lead us to development.
Very well. Amy, why are you smiling? You're shaking your head. What is your take on this one?
Jesus wept. I weep for my country. I just pray for the strength.
The strength to do what?
The strength to continue. You see, Loresha, if by law, and the law says, I am a citizen by birth, and you are a citizen, between the two of us, who is more Nigerian than the other? Is there one person that will be more Nigerian than the other?
No.
Who is a Nigerian? And who is not a Nigerian that is in the House of Reps or House of the Senate? Who? So sometimes when we throw words out there, we try to create more confusions for us, thinking that we are trying to solve a problem. And at the end, we will all come to ground zero and be crying and blaming one another. Have you wondered, Lorecha, why is it that we keep amending our electoral laws at every election
cycle,
and this remain unchanged, or we rarely record little progress or not? Why? Have we asked ourselves? So for how long are we going to continue to amend the Electoral Act, amend our laws, and yet this remains where they are? It tells you we are not even taking care of the real problem. It also tells you that, yes, there might be one or two lacunas in our laws. There might be one or two areas that we need to strengthen. But the real problem is not the law. The real problem is our attitude. How we see, how we perceive elections, how we behave, how we live. That is the real problem. You see, oh, yeah, rigging. They are rigging. They want to encourage rigging. Who is encouraging rigging? Who is rigging and who is not rigging? There was a time where political philosophers gathered and began to talk about what they call structural functional analysis. They look at the structure. Okay, this is the structure. There are rules that set up the structure. So let us live by those rules and those structure. And they began to live until they found that this thing is not still working the way we expected. So what is the problem? They then discovered that in between the structure and the rules, there is somebody that plays a vital role. And who is that person? The human behavior. The human behavior will either strengthen the system, strengthen the laws, or weaken the system, or weaken the laws. We don't give attention to it. But when electoral law change, electoral law change, electoral law. Now, we sometimes we compare ourselves based on comparative analysis. We look at the USA. One of the oldest democracy today is the United States, right? There was a time where the small city-states could gather everybody and make rules for everybody. And this is what we want to do. We just say, do we agree? Everybody say yes or no. It's the decision of the people. But as they, continue and population continue to grow in sizes, it got to a point where everybody could no longer gather. So they say, what can we do outside this direct democracy? They call that era direct democracy. So they coined the idea of representative democracy, where we select few among us who will go there and make decisions on our behalf. So whatever thing they do, it is assumed that we are the one who is doing it. That is why we have some people at the National Assembly today. They are Nigerians. You that is protesting, you are in Nigeria. You are not more in Nigeria than. So when we say we Nigerians, some people will even deceive themselves. 2007 election is between Nigerians and the APC. I will just laugh. Between Nigerians and the APC. So those APC members, where are they from? Those sympathetic to APC, where are they from? Those who vote, where are they from? I don't know Nigerians. So first you've started deceiving yourself, meaning your foundation is faulty. So your agitation may also be faulty. What is real-time transmission of electoral results? What is it? You go to a polling unit, you will be given a ballot, a paper. You will thumbprint on that ballot. Other people will come and thumbprint on that ballot. And the electoral officer will sit and sort them out. This one goes to this one goes to this, and they will count it. Then after counting, they will now pronounce the result and signed. A copy will be given to themselves. They will return a copy, give the police a copy, give each political party agent a copy. Then they will photograph. Do you know many Nigerians don't even understand what they're asking for? They believe that you just go there, that's it, thumbprint. Oh, INEC will not see the vote. Our vote is still manual. That is what I'm trying to say. Our electoral system is still manual. Everything will be done. It is that collected vote that has been signed that the INEC officials or whoever will photograph. In other words, snap. The snapping and sending, that is the thing we want to break our head. Oh, once we do it electronically, there will be no who says who. One of the oldest democracy today, which is the United States of America, does not have what they call real-time electronic transmission of results in their national law. They don't have it. I inquire why. I wonder why? Why did you have a technology are so sophisticated? You are one of the oldest democracy. Why not everything real-time? They have what they call decentralized method. Where some states and some counties, if you think you want to do electronic transmission and it's suitable for that jurisdiction, you can do it. But the national election, presidential election, they're not in real time. Why in some areas who feel that they can't do that transmission of electronic election results, not real time, it is the paper that is more reliable, go ahead and do it. So I asked, why not electronically everything? They gave key considerations. One of them, they say, what about in a situation where the system is hacked? If we go electronically fully. So what will happen to United States of America if the system is hacked? People can impute, change result, and do whatever. Will that represent the will of the people? Then they say, okay, outside hacking, What about if there is cyber attack on the system? So what will happen to our elections? Okay, if you think that is not enough, what about if there is system failure? If we go electronically, then what happened to the state? What happened to our elections? So they refuse to put real-time transmission of election result electronically on their national law. They don't have it. They imagine Nigeria, that even bank transaction you will suffer, you will do. I was somewhere one day where a chief whom you know is one who usually come here as well. Chief Loveday. Since a good time, make sure his name. When he called me, Emmy, something is happening. I said, what happened, Chief? He said, Emmy, I don't believe you did this. I said, Chief, what did I do? He said, there is a message I just read now on my phone. Was it from you? I said, no, I didn't send you a message. I know that. He said, something is going on. People have hacked your social media. They are sending people messages for money now. When he saw the one he saw, he believed that this can never come from Emi Fieraga. That is why he's calling me now. And I said, but since morning I've been trying to log in. The thing is not responding to my password. I have done everything possible. It's not responding. So I thought it's network. He said, nothing network there. He said it has been hacked. Everything changed. And I pleaded with her. I said, please, all my social media platform that you know you have, please drop messages for me there. That people should ignore whatever mail that is coming is not from me, which he did for me. He took it as personal something. So he was sending messages to my platform. He will just drop it, and the people will be deleted. He will drop again. That was what he did. Now, this is a country, a third world country, and people are angry. Well, retime. What is retime? All right. What about if people sat somewhere, shares the way opposing view on the day of election, and completed ballots,
and transmit electronically,
photograph and send? Would that represent the will of the people? All right. No, the law simply says we have electronic transmission of result. This signed one now, this newly signed Electoral Act. But for the case of eventualities, let us have option B, which is the manual collation, as a backup. Because on the day of election, if you fail to transmit, for example, everybody has a collation center at Abuja or Port Harcourt, everywhere, we are just there waiting for result, and the result didn't come. So what happened? We will cancel the election and schedule another election. Just think about the resources. Think about the time, the energy, and what we follow. All right. So in a case where we have eventualities that we can't, let us have that, retain that manual as a backup. All right. And you are saying Nigerians are saying, oh, Akpabio is bad. Oh, Nigeria, which Akpabio is bad? All right, Emmy. People should understand what they are asking for. All right, Emmy, very well.
But Lorenzo, if I may come in here, I think I thank God for Emmy's appearance this morning. He's, tying himself up shows he's very much prepared for this discussion this morning, and he has really eaten into my psyche. I commend him very much. I buy into his philosophies this morning, and you see the level of explanation he gave this morning. If this thing can go all out, if other stations can take it from your station and share it around, it will educate Nigerians more. Because while he was speaking, I was just imagining a situation where we say, oh, real-time electronic transmission, real-time. What if in a particular polling unit, in a particular rack center, and people sit somewhere and write results, photograph it, and transmit electronically? It just had to, in fact, it opened my eyes the more. And I expect that these are some of the educational things that INEC should be doing, and National Assembly should be doing.
National Orientation Agency.
Yes.
It's always sleeping.
Do we still have something like that? Let those who manages the media of this assembly, the parliament and all that, and even INEC, pick these things and begin to speak to Nigerians. Otherwise, look at the crowd of people that went to Abuja to protest.
Very quickly. let's look at it from this other perspective. Even though we don't have much time, I just have very few minutes to drop this. First of all, I recall I watched an interview that, was it Jega gave? And Jega said, the accreditations and all that we were doing was offline.
Okay.
For places that did not have network, we don't need network.
That's how BVAS is configured.
Hold on, please. We don't need network to get elections right.
Okay.
We don't need network for real-time electronic transmission. I will still explain that. Because I have also interviewed a technology expert from the UK over this matter. And I don't want to go deep into the person's portfolio, but I brought someone credible whose precedents I know. And he said something. He gave an example that was very simple. He said that, first of all, the argument of the Senate, this thing he said was not the argument of the Senate.
Okay.
Senate hinged their argument on a false information from NSCC. It wasn't even from NSCC. They changed some of that information and said that network coverage by network users is at 47.53%. And telecoms came out to counter what they said and said no, that they have about 97% network internet penetration.
Okay.
It's now remaining the remaining 3. Even at that, it can be managed. Now, this person, when he was educating us on this platform, said that it can be hard-coded.
Okay.
In the sense that he used WhatsApp, for example. When we were using WhatsApp before they upgraded it recently, there was a time that when you send a message on WhatsApp and you send it, you can't edit that message. You cannot delete that message. If there is no network, even till now, that message will hang. Whenever network enters your phone, it will drop. But now you can edit. But at that time,
even after
you could not edit. Now, in our BVAS as well, our IREV and our BVAS are hard-coded. You cannot edit information in that place. That is why when during the 2023 elections, when there were electoral irregularities, they started saying that, this one is glitching, that one is glitching. Let's even say, oh, there is no light in that area, the machine may run down. Machines have batteries. They can decide to use backup batteries and charge them. Right? Now, you say, oh, at the end of the day, what if there is a cyber attack? What if there is a this, there is a that? Nigerian security system, how come it has not been hacked?
Okay.
Nigeria security what?
System.
Hold on, please. How come it has not been hacked? How come CBN till now has not been hacked? Right? There are a lot of sensitive information domiciled in certain sensitive quarters that has not been hacked. There are still people managing this system for America, Russia, and all that. Yes, there are times when there is sabotage within the system.
America,
Hold on, Amy, please. Do not interject. There have been cases where that has happened. However, there are still counters to that.
Yeah.
So when Nigeria comes, and mind you, Nigerians are saying, when I mean is saying, oh, what if people write elections and snap it and update? In the first instance, it has been happening in this country, so it's nothing new.
So what is the difference?
Hold on, it is nothing new that elections have been rigged by rewriting results. However, Senate on the other hand has also rejected stiff punishments for people caught in electoral malpractice in this Electoral Act reform. If the Senate wanted to do right by the people, and they say, okay, we will insist on mandatory, the manual collation, right? And we will de-emphasize on real-time electronic transmission. Why not bring up stiffer penalties for people who are caught in electoral malpractice? That is food for thought for every single Nigerian. Now, recall that in the case of Opitobi, one of the disadvantages that P2B had that made him lose his case at the Supreme Court level was the fact that the Supreme Court said that the IREV and the BVAS is not in the Constitution, it's not recognized. And what was in the BVAS and in the IREV was contradictory to the hard copy.
That is not true.
Hold on,
That is
Amy,
not true.
please. It
I follow
was
the
different
case.
from what
It's
was
not
from EC8A.
It's not true.
But Supreme Court is saying we do not recognize this. But if these things are regularized in the law and electronic transmission, BVAS IRF is properly recognized in our constitution, people can go to courts and question the outcome of their results. However, since there is that proviso that manual transmission counts, which means there is a leeway for anybody to still steal the votes of the people. So the people can stand and vote, and it will be uploaded, and the court now can choose. The decision in this instance will not be discretionary because there is a proviso, and that proviso is the manual transmission is acceptable.
Can I say something?
We are already out of time. That's why I allowed you. We are already out of time. Look at the time.
There is something you said. We don't want to ship it.
We don't have a minute.
Just one. Okay, 30 seconds.
30 seconds. I'm counting.
I would have said it.
I'm counting.
You see. That issue of BVAS, BVAS is coded to accredit offline and online. Settled. Then the other one is the issue of IRF. What is in IRF and what is in the paper contradictory is not true.
It is.
Even the man, even the man, when he was in court, what was the other argument? You know what they say on media is different from what the actual prayer they pray. Do you know Peter Obi actually recognized that Tinubu won the election but he was seeking for disqualification? That was the prayer before the court.
All right.
So, the person can send a WhatsApp message. In the course of waiting for the message or transmission of the distance, so everybody will pause. What about the message you dropped that day? So what happened to the election?
That's the thing. Connection, if at a point of election and if at the polling unit point, right, collation is done, results are counted, it is signed and uploaded, and there is no network. Mind you, it's hard-coded. Nigerians can go home and rest knowing that as long as it has entered that particular machine, the moment you get to anywhere network is, it will naturally...
That is why they will not allow it.
Hold on, please. And now they are saying when you get to the collation center. And let me make it clear here. I have been an election observer for years in this country. I've observed presidential elections, local government elections, state elections under State Democracy Network. SDN is an NGO. I've been an election observer, accredited also by INEC. And I can tell you for free that a lot of reading goes on in the collation centers.
I participated in elections severally.
Even with INEC. What is going on, election observers most times are not allowed to enter collation centers. In fact, it is so well guarded. And most of these big politicians, they wait at the election collation center. It is in Rivers State that one of INEC rec commissioners cried out, a woman, that in the collation center where she is, that she's being hounded by a top politician in this state.
It's normal thing.
Interestingly, I was in that collation center that night and I was harassed by the police. I slept in my vehicle that night because I needed to see the outcome of this.
But Mr. Don't think that there is improvement. If an electoral had been captured this thing, but the electoral and an account is no improvement. So why are we fighting the electoral?
Hold on, these things are able to happen because those collations are done manually at the collation center. However, if these things can be captured at the polling units and it can no longer be edited, it means that when you get to the collation center, you work with what is in the machine. At this point, it is what is in the machine. So any politician that is able to get people to vote or get people to rig at the polling, we now know that we have streamlined our fight against electoral malpractice out of the collation center and down to the polling unit, thereby limiting our problems. But when issues come up and there are solutions and we find the reason to say, oh, Nigerian politics is not the same with US politics. We need to make that very, very clear. Nigerian politics is not the same with US politics. If Nigerian politics is the same with US politics, I doubt if a lot of politicians will be in office right now. And thank you so much, Emmy, for coming. We are a minute past our time. This is a very strong conversation for me. Thank you so much, Emmy, for coming. Thank you, Zay. It's a pleasure having you. And thank you so much, our viewers. And this is where we wrap it up at this episode of Open Conversation. See you same time tomorrow. I am Ogu Laurentia Choma. Bye for now.
is not about the thing. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?